Welcome back to another episode of Rated TNT, the show where we talk about movies, TV shows, fandom, fanfic, and everything in between. I'm Tay. This is Tim.
Hey.
Thank you for joining us again. Today, for our press play segment, we're gonna be talking about the new Netflix series, His and Hers. If you haven't seen it, I'm gonna need y'all to get on that because I need y'all to come back and talk about it because it, in fact, was a great show. In particular, though, for this episode, we're gonna keep it to a review over episodes 1 and 2, and I'll try not to spoil it. I don't know. I'm gonna give a warning now. I might say something. So y'all, if you haven't watched it, come back when you have.
I'm not gonna lie, this was hard. This was hard to watch because not because it wasn't good, not because I wasn't interested,
Yeah.
but because it was hard coming off of heated rivalry.
Yes.
I'm like, let's go ahead and get that out of the way. It was hard coming off of heated rivalry. I wasn't really in the headspace to watch anything new.
Yeah.
If you follow us on TikTok, we both did our like January watch list, and three things that I said I was going to watch that were new was like High Potential and The Pit and Percy Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
I've only watched one of those things and we're almost out of January, but that's neither here nor there. But I don't really count Percy Jackson because I'd already seen season one. I don't really count High Potential because I'd already seen season one.
Yeah.
So this was like the first new thing that I've watched since Heated Rivalry
Yeah.
ended. And it was hard. It was hard. I will say, like, my attention wasn't there.
Yeah.
Like, there was definitely many times where I had to go back and, like, rewind because I was like, oh, I missed something. I wasn't paying attention. But I'm glad I did because it was a good show, which is, like, rare coming from me because that's not my style of TV. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not really into those kind of shows.
Yeah.
Like the extent of my, I think it's classified as a thriller.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the extent of my like interest in crime shows is Monk and How to Get Away with Murder. That's about it.
Okay.
Like outside of that, like I don't usually watch shows that are, focused on like solving a murder or a mystery or what. Like I don't watch Criminal Minds or Law and Order or any of those shows.
Have you seen like the Knives Out movies?
No,
Okay.
I have not. Like that is just not my
That's not your. That's not your
vibe.
shit. That's not
Right,
your
right.
forte.
I don't like it. And part of it is it's not even that it's not interesting, it's that I tend to ruin it for myself,
Because you're trying to figure out who it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
I'm trying to figure out in the first 30 seconds, like, okay, y'all ignoring this person standing in the back. Like clearly
But
that's
that's
who
the
did
fun
it.
thing about it, because like this is it's. I love this. Like some of my favorite books ever are crime books,
like it.
crime thrillers, like the Harry Bosch, the detective series, Michael Connelly. Love them down. So this is up my alley,
I don't like it.
and
I don't
I think
like
like
it.
but part of like the excitement in it is like trying to figure out who it is.
Yeah.
And, like they're obviously wanting to point you in one direction and say like, oh, it's this person, but like you're in your mind like, no, we're missing
Yeah.
that, and we're missing.
I
the
think
pane
I
on the
hate
window
being
over there.
misled. I hate being like intent. I don't know what it is. I know like it wouldn't be as good of a show if they just came out and said like, "Oh, this is who it is."
Yes.
Even though it's not coming to mind right now, but there's definitely a show that I've seen that has that vibe. Like the audience knew who it was, and then they spent the rest of the show or the movie like covering it up or something like
Yeah.
that. Maybe I made it up. But yeah, I don't like being intentionally deceived and misled, and like I feel like that is typically what these shows do.
Yeah.
They paint this picture of like, oh, well, they're pointing the blame at this person, so it has to be them, right? And then the last 10 seconds of the episode, something will happen, and it's like, oh. Actually, it was probably them.
Yeah.
I don't like being intentionally misled,
Everybody
so I
wants that,
usually
though.
get everybody but
wants,
me.
like, well, the writers and like the showrunners,
Everybody but me.
they want like the twist ending. They want you to get to the end and not be able to, because there are a lot of showrunners that like are so pissed smooth to the highest levels of pissivity when the audience figures out, a
Yeah.
plot line or figures out something before like it is meant to be revealed. So like everybody's wanting to do that
Yeah.
twist ending that like you're never gonna see coming.
I'm glad it was. I'm glad I was able to binge the show because I
Yeah.
they wouldn't have kept me
If
if it was
you
a weekly release. They wouldn't have
really,
kept me. It would have pissed me clean off. It would have pissed me clean off every single episode for like that last 5-10 seconds for
yeah,
something crazy to happen,
yeah,
and now I have to wait. And so no, actually, I
yeah,
don't care who killed her. I
yeah.
don't
No,
care who killed anybody. I'm not. You're never gonna see me again.
that actually would have irritated me real bad.
Yeah,
To be
that made it
honest.
easy to stay with it
Yeah,
because I knew that no matter what crazy twist that's going to happen right now,
yeah,
I can just keep going. You know, it will
yeah,
be explained later on in the story. It will unfold at some point.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I was pleasantly surprised.
Well, let me ask you this, since this is not your genre, because like obviously I was eating this shit up. I I haven't seen the Knives Out. I
Hmm.
just watched like the third one last night actually. But I know that like they're really popular and supposed to be like the along the lines of like the Who done it.
Yeah.
But since this is not like your typical area, what about it did you enjoy so much that made you want to finish? Like what kept you hooked in?
I don't know. A lot of it was the actors that they casted.
Okay,
Like,
John Bernthal,
yeah, like, and
Tessa
I've seen
Thompson.
some people say like, "Oh, Tessa Thompson is a horrible actress," and she blah blah blah. I I'm not gonna agree, but I'm not gonna disagree.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
but like, I feel like that was a large part of it. The cast is what kept me interested.
Yeah.
Um, Also, they were insufferable from the start,
From
which like
jump.
really pissed some people off. But that's what kept me interested because like I said, I don't like being intentionally misled.
Yeah.
So like when a show opens and they're clearly painting one person as the
Yeah.
saint, the person who can do no wrong, right? And then the other, especially in a situation like this where it's like they were married or they are still married and
Mm-hmm.
like clearly something happened there, like usually it is very much like it's all one person's fault and the other person just got
Yeah.
hurt, you know. But they were all equally hateable from
Guilty.
the start. And that was
Yes.
before they even started to unfold like what the mystery was that they were
Yeah.
solving, what the crime was. Like I was like, "Oh, you all kind of suck," you know?
Like everybody in this is a culprit in my mind.
Yeah.
Everybody in this like has the ability to actually be the person that's doing this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
did
I
like that
think
too.
that's what kind of kept me interested
Yeah.
was the fact that I really wanted all of you to go down. Like
Yeah.
I would have been happy if it would have been any one of
Yeah.
you and you ended up either dead or in jail. You know,
Yeah.
like I think that's what kept me interested was like I hated them all equally
Yeah.
from the start, you know. Minus like maybe the mom.
Yeah. Like I don't think I really held anything against her. I
Yeah.
don't think they showed
Yeah.
anything
But everybody else like pretty much annoyed me the second they
from
were on
jump.
screen. And so there was a part of me that was like, "Oh, I want to see all of you suffer."
Yeah.
So I really want to know who is it? Who
And
did
that
it?
includes like the people that like were set up to just like be hateable but like not have anything to actually do with the crime. Her boss,
Yeah.
he could eat shit.
Yeah.
That Lexi bitch, she could eat shit.
Yeah.
Like people that we didn't even think had anything to do with the crime, they all could also eat
Yeah.
shit. And I was just like, y'all are the only other person, probably the mom and Priya, the
Yeah.
other detective. Now, mind you, Priya, I didn't have no problems with her as far as like the storyline or whatever. She was annoying.
Oh yeah, she
She was
annoyed me
annoying as
too.
fuck.
Yeah.
No, she was
Yeah,
annoying.
yeah. They were all like irritating in a very specific way. In
Yes.
their own character specific
Yes.
way. Like even if they themselves like weren't a bad person in the story, like because Priya was great. Like
Yes.
she was very much a
She was
good
doing her
guy.
job.
Right. She was doing
what
her
she was supposed
job,
to do.
right? But the way in which you were doing it was irritating the fuck
I was
out
like,
of
girl,
me.
shut
You know,
up.
the manner in which you are going about doing your job is irritating
You're
the fuck out of me.
irritating.
So it would bring me pleasure to find out that at the end of this, it was actually you.
Yeah,
You know?
like actually, I would be okay with that
Yeah.
because like that would it really would do something for me
Yeah.
for you to be involved in this shit. I will go back to the comment about Tessa Thompson. I don't necessarily think she's a horrible actress by no means. There were some things that she's played in that like I just didn't really care for. I do think that in this one though that she was she was acting down in it.
Yeah.
I think she was acting down in this. The same with and we should probably, I want us to do an episode where we're talking about a couple films, and one of those films I want it to be Hedda. That's a film that she did. When I tell you she was acting down,
Okay.
acting boots, okay?
Yeah.
She was doing her big one in that one. Loved it. It was really, really good. But
Yeah.
I think she did exceptionally well in this. Also John Bernthal, who was playing her husband Jack, he also was doing a great job.
Yeah.
You know,
I love him.
I love him. I
Yeah.
love him big. And you know, I love when they have a plethora of finance men, and they in fact did, because Pablo Schreiber, he fine as hell too. Do I hate the characters that they typically play? I think the one character of John Bernthal that I loved was the Punisher. The Punisher. Anything else? No, I hated him in The Walking Dead. Ooh, I hated him in The Walking Dead. Yeah. Pablo from The Orange Is the New Black, porn stash, hated him in
Yeah.
that. Typically hate the characters that they do. Are they fine though? They in fact are.
They eat a roll up.
They, you know, they
Another
in fact-
thing that I also really enjoyed that kept me interested was where they were located.
Yes.
I
Yes.
not to tell all our business and where we're at,
Yeah.
but the names that they were saying were very familiar to me.
Very familiar.
Very familiar to me. And I was like, oh, like
Okay.
that, because it's like rare,
Yeah.
you know, especially for a show like that, you know, that is not focused on like culture of any
Yes.
kind. You know, like when you think about a show like Atlanta, you know,
Yeah.
like it made sense for that
Yes.
show because a lot of that was about,
Atlanta.
you know,
Yeah.
it would make sense for like a Tyler Perry show, you know, like,
Yes.
but for a show like this, like it's very rare for them to be set in a place like Atlanta, Dahlonega, you know,
yeah.
like usually it's a New York, it's
Yeah, that's very
it's
true.
you know, a big city where you would expect crime to be crazy. Chicago, Los Angeles, you
Yes.
know, like usually almost every crime show movie that I've ever seen is always set in one of those places. So for it to be like in a place that I was like, oh, I know where that is.
I know
I've
where
been
that
there, you
is.
know. So it had me looking like, do I know where they're at right now? Have I been there? You know, have I driven past there? So yeah, that kept me interested too, like
And-
where the show is set.
I mentioned that, and I didn't post a TikTok, but I did record a TikTok about his and hers, and I did say that I love the fact that it was a country who done
Yeah.
it. I love the fact that like the people that how they was talking in there, them people from around my way, like
Yeah.
that's back home. That's how them people be talking,
And
So,
they
like,
sounded like it.
They sounded
You know?
like it. Oh, don't get me started, because I hate when they have. I hate when they cast people to do a Southern accent, and the only Southern accent, because I think we talked about this yesterday. The only Southern accent that they do, or that they mimic, is like Southern white
Yeah.
socialites.
Yeah.
That's their Southern accent is a very different
Yeah.
Southern accent than like just the people of the town, the general population,
Like the
in
hell.
country towns. Yes.
Yeah, that
Yes.
like that southern borderline slave owner
Yeah.
kind of accent.
Dog, I hate when they do that. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
y'all, everybody down here don't sound like that. That is a very particular group of people, because I'm not even name no names, whatever. I'm not gonna go down that road. I did enjoy the fact that the country accents in this show were representative of like the actual people of the town.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that down. I don't think I heard any accent that I was just like, oh, that's ass, or that's
Yeah.
terrible. And I typically be picking it out, because if y'all ain't know, I am a southern black lady. Like, grew up here all my life type shit. So like, I like for them to do our accents well. And I think in this one they did. But I did really enjoy that it was a country who done it. I
Yeah.
will say that too. You know, I was raised in a small town. I know all about that. And it put me in the mind of like, oh, if this shit happened in my hometown, this is kind of like how it would
Yeah.
go. Actually, this is kind of how it would go.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't like made a TikTok about it. One, because TikTok is down right now, so I hope by the
Oh
time
my
this is up,
God.
the shit's back working.
You know,
But I feel like once I make a TikTok about it, it will start to show up on my feed and stuff.
yeah.
But from what I've seen a lot of people dissecting the show and talking about different things. And one that I saw somebody talking about that was in my head pretty much the entire time was the rules around the law and like the way that they navigated that in this
Mm-hmm.
space. Like people were saying like I believe it was episode 2 where the coroner that they were talking to, she was like, "Oh, like I need both of your DNA so that I can rule you out as well."
Yeah.
Um, without giving it away, one of them was very hesitant to
Yeah.
give the DNA, and somebody was like, "You work in law enforcement, don't they already
Don't they already
have your
have
DNA?"
it?
So little things like that where people are like, "That would never happen,"
Yeah.
or like this might be a spoiler. I can't remember if this was episode 1 and 2 or not, but like the phone,
Oh yeah.
and they were like, "Why would you do that in your office?
Now
Like, why
that
wouldn't you?"
that
You
did like
know,
give me pause because I was just like, that was the dumbest shit ever. Why would you bring it
yeah.
into the
Maybe he's
station?
dumb. Like maybe he's just like not a good cop,
You
and
know,
he's meant to be making
they
those
did
stupid
give the jab. You
decisions.
couldn't even find your wife. So
You
now when
know,
she said that shit on the
yeah,
porch, I said, "Oh,
yeah,
bitch, you're fucked.
yeah.
You're
Yeah, so
you're fucked in the head."
maybe stuff like that was intentional. Like it was supposed to add to the narrative that like he ain't that good at his
Yeah,
job because some of the
that's
decisions that he was
true.
making, like I was like, I feel like you walked yourself into that.
He
Like
did,
that was a dumb decision. I mean, he did an okay job, keeping it under wraps for as long as it was, but
but he was making some dumbass
I was like,
decisions.
yeah.
He really was making some dumbass decisions.
But yeah, that was one I saw people talking about. Like, and actually, I saw people that were like, "Yeah, I work in law enforcement. That makes no sense. Like, that would never happen." Or
That's
like,
funny.
like this is information that you would already like. Somebody else pointed out like, they were like going through the evidence and didn't have no gloves on, and they were
Yes,
like,
I
"What?
did
Like,
not.
why
Like,
would
what the
you
fuck
do
are y'all
that?"
doing?
So little stuff like that. But overall,
I think that
I was hooked.
I think that also might have like intentionally been done um, because of it being a small town. That
Hmm.
like they kind of a lot of times, or at least in my knowledge, a lot of times smaller police departments in the cold cases and like crime shows that I watch like that, whatever. Y'all know I'm down that rabbit hole real bad. Um, but because it's a smaller police station, they fuck a lot of things up.
Hmm.
They're not going by the correct protocols, and then evidence ends up cross contaminated, and because they either haven't been trained well or just like have used been done some way, whatever the case may be. So I wonder if that was intentional, if it
Hmm.
was like, oh, we just let this out, I forgot, like this isn't how it would go, how it would, or Jesus, this isn't how it would particularly go, or if it was intentional to show that like, oh, this is a small town and they obviously don't be doing things correctly when they're
Hmm.
actually they don't follow the correct protocols when they're trying to solve a case. Um, yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I don't think I thought about that beforehand, but there's been plenty of cases where it's like, oh, it's a smaller police department that don't have enough, that's understaffed, and like that also this and that's the problem, and it's led by this person, and the way in which they handle the case is not like they would handle it in Atlanta or in a bigger city.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
so it might be intentional. I don't know. I don't know. I think that because I don't think we've mentioned like actual things that happened in the first episode, which honestly, the first episode is really just them introducing all of
Yeah.
the characters and
Yeah. Which is why I was like, we should just take this opportunity to just talk about the show in
just talk
general,
about the
like
show in
how we
general.
felt about it, because
Yeah,
not a lot was happening
not a
in
lot was
the first two
happening,
episodes.
but it was enough to like keep you intrigued, in my
Yeah.
opinion, because like you said earlier, every person that they introduced, I immediately was like, actually, but something's wrong there.
Yeah.
Something's off with you. Like there's you definitely could have did this. I think one of the things that I really really enjoyed about the show, and that's from beginning to end, was that like there wasn't one person where I was just like, oh my god, this person is completely absolved of everything
Yeah.
or like completely innocent. Each person was like, oh, you you could have did this. Oh. Speaking of, one scene that I did want to talk about real bad from season 2, I mean episode 2, Helen Wayne. That
Mm-hmm.
little tit in the office with her and Tessa Thompson character, Anna Andrews, she was eating her ass up. She
Yeah.
was eating
It
her up.
I can't remember whose show this happened on, but it reminded me of that Olivia Pope, Annalise Keating
Yes.
meeting. I can't remember
They
if
were in the
that was
salon.
I was like, was that a Scandal episode or was that a How to Get Away with Murder episode?
I
I can't
don't know. I
remember.
know it was a crossover, so I know that they were
Yeah.
both. But I don't know in which particular show it
It reminded
happened.
me of that. I was
Yeah,
like, oh, and you're just gonna sit here and let her
you were
eat
just
you up
gonna
like
sit here and
this.
let her
You're just gonna
talk
let
to
her
you
eat you
like
up like
this?
this, you know?
Oh, because she was like, "Ask Jack." First of all,
Yeah.
that we estranged. Don't mention my man.
Right.
Don't like
Right.
actually. I'm finna beat you up now.
Yeah.
Like Helen would have had to get whooped in her office. I'm sorry. I would have had to put
Yeah.
hands on her. And I'm not gonna lie to you. When we came back the next episode and what happened to her happened, I said,
Yep.
you know,
I wasn't sad.
I ain't
You
shed no
know?
tear.
It was what it was.
I didn't shed no tear because Helen, you was playing a dangerous game and you thought you was that bitch, and
Yeah.
then it caught up to you. It caught
Yeah.
up to you.
It reminded me of, and I feel like I can't remember if this was something that I made a TikTok about or if I put it like on a story just so that it would disappear. I grew up in a small town
Mm-hmm.
as well. And it is always, and if any of you see this, yes, I'm talking about you. It is always so jarring to see the people that were horrible
Yeah.
in high school, horrible bullies, horrible people,
Yeah.
end up in careers like teaching,
Healthcare,
nursing. Like,
Yes.
I'm like, why is it that all of the worst people you ever knew in high school want to educate the youth of tomorrow?
I don't know because the mean girl to nurse pipeline
It's
is
it's
insane.
yes. That's what it reminded me of. I was like, you were horrible
You were horrible,
when y'all were that age, and now this is
Look
your
at you.
job. Yeah, it just immediately flashed me back to all of. I'm not gonna call y'all out by name, and if you see this, you'll know who you are.
You
But
don't know
like,
who you are.
it's so crazy that all of the people that I remember who were crazy bullies in
Yeah.
high school, like still in that small town, but now they're teachers and
Yes.
nurses at the local hospital, police officer, like all of these careers that require you to help others in some way, form,
Yeah.
or fashion. And
Now the
yeah,
police officers, that would make sense
it
to
kind
me.
of tracks.
That one
Yeah.
tracks because like you feel like you're a bully all your life. You feel like you are in control of your own life. Now you feel like you have a little bit of power, a little bit of authority. It
Yeah.
also doesn't. No offense to actually all the offense whatever to people that take that profession, but it's not as rigorous of a program to get into to pass type of thing.
Yeah.
And so it's a breeding ground for all
Yeah.
of the bullies to go to and to feel a little bit of power.
Yeah.
So
Somebody should look into that.
Somebody should look
If
into that. Do a
anybody is
study.
like getting a PhD in like behavioral psychology
Do
or
a
maybe even
study.
sociology, like this would be a good thing to study. Like
Do a
the
study.
bully to helping profession
Yeah.
pipeline. Because there has to be a correlation there. I don't know if it's atonement and like they feel like, oh, I did so much hell back in the day, like
Yeah.
it's time for me to counteract it so I can get into heaven. I don't
The
know.
ones I know personally, it ain't.
Because you're usually still a horrible
You're still
person. You just
terrible.
can mask it throughout the day from 9 to 5.
Yeah,
you
like
know.
you're still terrible, and it comes out whenever like anything happens online, and it be the nurses that be in the
Right.
comments, and I just be like my flabbers be gassed.
Yeah.
On some of the shit that they're be saying, and then you forgot they're a nurse, and it's just like that's actually
Yeah.
insane. That's insane.
But yeah, somebody look into that.
Please, actually, send us
But
the
yes,
results of that study.
I also think that is this a spoiler? When did we first? No, it happened in the first 2 episodes. When we saw them in high school, was it?
I think it was in the first. Yeah, I want to say. Oh, it was in it for sure. We at least got one or two
Yeah.
flashbacks in the first 2 episodes.
I just nothing even related to that. I just feel like the actresses that they chose to portray
Play them?
them perfectly cast.
Yeah, no, the girl that was
Perfectly
playing Anna
cast.
Andrews as a kid,
Yeah.
they did
That-
exceptionally
yeah.
well with that one. You could believe that was actually Tessa Thompson when she was
Yeah.
younger.
Yeah, they did a really good job of like
They
casting
shaped
past them.
They did, and I love when they do that. And that's actually been a topic on like my Twitter timeline because people were like pulling some of the casting from, what was it, not Game of Thrones, House of Dragons,
Mm.
and people were just like, young Rhaenyra doesn't look like older Rhaenyra, whatever. Young Allison doesn't look like older Allison. There, it's been an argument, yada yada yada. But when I saw this, and I was like, oh, we got some contenders for actually
Yeah.
for like casting being insane because like that girl looked like she could actually be related to her. Like they look like that could actually be her in her younger years. I do think that they did exceptionally well with the casting. They definitely did.
Mm.
Helen Wang, yeah, the Rachel girl, what was it, Rachel Hopkins? What's the
Mm-hmm.
name? Yeah, when you think about it, all of them look like that could be them when they were younger. Mm. I just think that like I think one of my favorite things about um crime thrillers or like psychological thrillers are the ways in which they choose to like reveal
Mm.
details and things to you. And I think that his and hers did a really good job in how they reveal things, not just through flashbacks. Because one of the things, this is not a spoiler, I don't think, but in the beginning, they set it up to make it seem like, because this is like inconsequential in my mind, that Meg was Jack's daughter.
Yeah.
In the first episode, they for sure made it like seem like or set it up that that was in fact his daughter. Come to find out, it's just his niece.
Yeah.
And I think that it obviously was intentional with the way in which things end up. But I like the creativity and
Yeah.
intentionality behind how they present things to you for them to be actually come out to be something entirely different. And I think that's kind of like how you mislead your audience
Yeah.
to the point that you want them to be at instead of the
Yeah.
point that they actually should be.
Yeah. I again, that's what I hate the most about these. Like I don't like being intentionally deceived. But intentional deception is an art. You know,
Yes.
like getting an audience to focus on what you want them to focus on,
Yeah.
you know, like because not to spoil it, and they didn't really do this at the end, but a lot of what will typically happen with these shows is like when you get to the end or movie, when you get to the end, like they will replay everything that you've already seen, and
Yeah.
typically, you know, you'll see it in a different way. Like, you know, we wanted you to see this, but you missed, you know, what was happening back here. You know,
Yeah.
like that whole thing of like, you know, never let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, kind of, you
Yeah.
know, like being able to intentionally deceive people in that way is like it's such an art,
It
you know,
is.
like because usually in those like flashbacks, it's like this was literally happening right in front of my face. Like
Yeah.
it was literally right there, but you had me looking here. And of course, I'm watching the show, so I'm thinking, oh yeah, this little thing right here is super important.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even noticing
Yeah.
the bloody knife sitting right here
Yes.
on the counter. You know, like so being able to like intentionally deceive people in that way, I think is such an art. And
Yeah.
like again, art is subjective. Everybody don't like it. I don't
Mm-hmm.
like it.
You know. You
But
know.
I think for people that do enjoy that, like they enjoy that feeling of like, you know, especially if you are someone that looks at these kind of like whodunits as like oh, I'm gonna figure it out, you know,
Yeah.
like I need to figure it out by the time we get to the end, right?
Yeah.
And like so I think like when you have an audience of those people, like it becomes so much harder to pull the wool over their eyes.
Yeah.
And like not gonna ruin it for you, but when I tell you I was shook when I found out who
Shook.
it actually was,
Shook.
especially, you know, considering they, like you said, they were all insufferable from the start.
All of them.
Like there was never a point that I was like, oh, you're completely innocent, you know.
Mm-mm.
So it literally
No.
could have been anybody, and it ended up being the one person that
Never would have thought.
it never crossed my mind, like
Mm.
never crossed my mind. So yeah, I think they did that really well. Coming from
Yeah.
somebody who does not like that in these type shows, like I feel like they did it really, really well, you know.
Each person that I talked to, so like my mom had watched this before I did. I had a friend that watched it before I did. And each one of them were telling me, they're just like, you're never gonna guess who it was. You're never gonna guess who it was. And me being arrogant, I was just like, girl, I eat this type of
Yeah.
media up. Like I'm gonna find out who it was. I'm like, I know who it was gonna be. Da 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 da. I
Yeah.
got to there. I said, oh bitch. I said,
Yeah.
oh
Even
okay.
when I thought I knew. Like,
Yes.
and it was like, looking back on it now, it was almost like, I don't know how to say this without spoiling it. So if you don't want it to be spoiled, maybe skip this part.
Yes.
But like, even the way that they were setting it up as the episodes went on, like, they were making me think I was right. You know, I
Yes.
was like, oh yeah, I know who the fuck it was.
They
I'm
were
like,
fueling that
right.
shit.
I'm
Like,
like, oh yeah, like you've been, especially like in the way that some of the scenes were shot, like the yearbook
yes.
situation where she was like, oh no, there's five of us. Like
Yeah.
you're not thinking about the person that took the picture. Like,
No.
you know, like they're setting it up to make it seem like, yeah, it is this person. Like,
They're
how could it not be
intentionally
this person, right?
they were
So when
intentionally leaving that person out
exactly,
to
so
make you
when
think
it
so.
did come up that it was like, oh duh, I was like, of course I
Yeah,
knew it.
like
I
we
could
knew
have wrote this
that.
damn show myself. I knew who it was from the start. Come to find out, I didn't. You
No,
know, I
because
didn't. So
and at that point, I was just like, okay, we can wrap this here. But there were 25 minutes left in the
right,
episode,
it
and I
was
said,
all
oh
happening so
bitch.
fast.
I said, oh,
Yeah, that's what made me wary. I was like,
yeah,
because we got to the what episode 6, and I was like, okay, he already got the gun on you,
like
we only been here 10 minutes.
we
Like,
only
what
been
the
here
hell is
10
gonna you
minutes.
know? Yeah, and the way that when you find out exactly what happened, I was like, oh, this makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
It all adds up. But
yeah,
of course, I didn't see that. You
no,
know, I wouldn't have seen
no,
that because they were leading me astray,
yeah.
misleading me, you know, pointing me in every direction. So,
I do like though that when we got to the end and they showed like who actually it was, they did explain how in which it was done.
yeah.
That would have pissed me clean off if like they'd have been like, oh, this person did it, but like not like go into detail on
Yeah.
how it was done because I was like, that's in fucking possible, bitch. But then like, no, it was
Yeah.
real possible.
Yeah.
It was real
Even
possible.
the like the the monologue that this person gave, like
Yeah,
the things that they were saying, I was like, yeah,
yeah,
like even thinking about like real life, you
yeah,
know, and the way that we overlook certain people
yeah,
or don't think people can or would
yeah.
do X, Y, and Z because we see them as this thing, you know, like it was actually kind of crazy.
It
Yeah,
was.
I was happy about the explanation because I was
Yes.
like, once I realized it wasn't what I thought it was, like I very much thought it was about to be a Dan is Gossip Girl kind of
Yes.
situation. Like
Yeah.
they just threw this in here and they're not really gonna, you know, explain where this came from, how it happened. Um,
And let's talk
but
about that
yeah,
right quick, because that I feel like that cheapens things
yeah,
when directors or like showrunners, whatever, when they feel like their audience has figured something out that they didn't want them to figure out, and then so they scramble at the last minute
yeah,
to just like throw some other bullshit there. I feel like it would just be so much more. Or like I don't know, because I feel like if you just stuck with it and be like, okay, yeah, y'all were right.
yeah.
This happened. This is how it plays
Because
out.
what's the worst that could happen?
What's the worst that can
You
happen? They
have a
figured
few
it.
fans that say, "Oh, I knew it,"
Oh, I knew it.
and what now?
Okay, that's fine. They're fans. They was locked in. They still gonna see
Yeah,
it all the way through. So what's the point? I think it's
ego.
it's ego. Thank
Yeah,
you, because I was just like, it's ego. You just want to be the smartest person in the room, and you don't
yeah,
want people to figure things out. And it's just like the point in having diehard fans and supporters is for them to be like looking, like I'm watching
yeah,
this. I want to know. I'm trying to figure it out. That's the whole thing. Like that's the whole. So like
yeah.
I hate when they do that. I hate when they cheapen the whole thing by wanting to throw something there in the last minute, and it's just like that's unnecessary.
Mm,
Just give them what they want. If they figured it out, they figured it out, and like that's okay. Like we don't have to. It don't got to be more than that.
yeah,
Actually, it does not have to be
yeah.
more
Because
than
now
that.
you've ruined the story.
Now you've ruined the
You
story.
know.
You've ruined the story. I'm sorry. Dan being Gossip Girl was the stupidest shit ever.
Yeah,
That was in fact the stupidest shit ever. To this day, that boils my blood.
yeah.
To this day, I hate that shit so bad.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you think there's going to be a season 2 of the show? I
I don't
feel
think so
like
because I think it's a limited series.
okay, because I
So I
was like, it
think,
was written like this is the. I
and I
mean,
think it's based on a book.
oh,
I think
okay,
like yeah, let me
yeah,
fact
it
check that.
was written, and the way it was wrapped up made it seem like. I mean, I could see a way forward, like if they
Yeah,
were to do another season, like I'm sure they could come up with something, but it was written as if it was just meant to be this one
yeah.
season.
So it is based on a book by Alice Feeney, and
Okay.
it's called His and Hers, and it was written in 2020. So I don't think there'll be
Is that the
a.
only book?
I think so.
Because I wonder if, because of the response, like, would they find themselves in a heated rivalry kind of situation where they're like,
Right.
okay, girl, we need to get back on that
Get these
laptop,
coins. Get your
like
coins.
go ahead and get that typewriter or computer or MacBook or whatever you got working, like let's get it back in circulation.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure it's like the number one show on Netflix right
I think
now.
it's up there
Like,
for sure.
so I wonder if
Because
the response would be enough to.
it aired this month, I think, the month of January.
Hmm,
No, it doesn't have a second book. It's a standalone psychological thriller.
hmm,
Does not have a direct sequel.
yeah, but I mean, we've also seen many projects that
Yeah.
started as like book adaptations and
Kept going.
yeah,
Yeah. I think
that's
there's room for them to do so for sure. Um, and I would be interested because I think they did a really good job. And that's something else that I wanted to go into. I saw people that didn't really like it.
hmm.
I saw like a couple Reddit posts.
What was the reason?
They were just saying that the writing was tired and it was predictable.
Hmm.
And I was just like, how? They
Did
didn't
they
really go
watch it
into.
all the way through?
Yeah, this person did. Um,
But they that could be somebody like me who like
yeah.
just doesn't like this kind of stuff because they don't like being
That's typically
intentionally misled or like they
that's
were able to predict. I don't know how you would.
how did you like that's my
There's
thing though
I
because they didn't
truly feel
explain
like
that.
there's no way that
You'd have got that.
you would have predicted that in any way. But yeah,
I
I don't
think
know. I always take stuff like that with a grain of salt
that's what I was
because
just about to say.
it's all everything about art, movies, books, songs, TV shows.
Yeah.
It's all subjective
Yeah.
anyway. Like, um, but
Because I
that's
mean,
why I asked, like, oh, what was the reason? Like, why didn't they
because it's
like
not
it?
like I don't know. I think somebody giving like actual valid reasons as to why they don't like something that's like tangible
Yeah,
versus you just saying that you don't like it. Like I get if it's not like your
yeah,
if it's not my taste or like my style in movies, I won't just say like the movie's fucking terrible.
right,
It's just not. It's not my
right. Not my vibe.
forte. That's not
Yeah,
my thing. Not
that's
my.
funny.
It's just not my. That's not my thing, and so that's actually what that was born from. Like me saying it
Mm.
one day, and I was just like, actually, let me turn that into my handle.
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't think that I don't know. It's very hard when you're trying to weed through like reviews and things because it's hard to tell like if a person is really like well, it's not that it's hard to tell, but sometimes it's annoying to go through them and be like, "Oh, I'm trying to like find like a solid like
yeah,
review of something," and like somebody's just tearing it apart just because they don't like the style or
yeah,
like the genre of movie or TV show, and it's just like, "What you watching it for?"
yeah,
If you ain't like it,
yeah. I will say, unrelated to what to that point, but I'll come
yeah.
back to that. That'd be a really cute like TikTok or YouTube series, not my forte, where you
Oh,
just like list things that like
that's
just
not that
aren't
I ain't
yeah,
really
just not for
into.
you,
That's that actually,
or
and
things that are just your forte, like things that
that
you actually really like
is.
or really enjoy.
Thank
Um,
you. I love when friends like come like the batch of friends that I have, and this is off subject, but I genuinely love, especially the content creator friends that I have, because like we'll have ideas not for ourselves, got
yeah,
shit to do with anything that like we all make the same type of content, but like I'll think of an idea and be like, actually, this don't got shit to do with what I want to do, but you can do it, friend. Like
yeah,
this is great for you.
yeah,
This will be perfect for you. and like don't feel any type of way, because some people like real bad about gatekeeping things. They're
Yeah,
real bad
I don't
about
know
like
why.
wanting to keep all of the ideas and like things to themselves, and it's just like it's nice to be in a group or like with friends that like, no friend, this would be cute for you to do, this
Yeah,
would be great for you to do, like I want to see you be great.
yeah, that
So
would be cute.
I have a special appreciation for y'all, because you always be like, yeah, no, that's something that would be great for you to do, and I'd be like, well, why don't you do that? Nah,
Yeah, I think it'd be
that ain't
cute.
my forte.
Yeah. What was I saying? Oh, I
The
do
fuck.
respect people that can say, "Oh, I didn't like it," because they watched it.
Yes.
I will say that even if I don't necessarily agree with what you're saying, like I respect people more that say like, yeah, I watched all 6 episodes and
It's just
I
really my
just I just
thing.
don't like it. You know,
Yeah.
like even if the reason's not valid, like I just don't like it. I'm like, okay, you
But like
at least you watched it,
you have
right?
ground to stand on
Right, because
because
even though
you
it's
consumed it.
like stuff like that is subjective, like I feel like it's a lot different when you just dislike it because a lot of people like it, you
Yes.
know, or like you saw 30 minutes of the first episode and you're like, actually, I can't stand this. It's predictable. It's blah, 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 you know. So I definitely respect people more who like will see a
Consumed it
project
first.
all the way through and then will say, like, actually, I don't like that because of whatever, you
There's a
know.
TikToker, and I can't think of her name. There's another black woman though, and she posted a video and she was talking about heated rivalry, and she was talking about people talking about that they didn't like it and what their reasoning was. And when she would ask them, they would just be like, "Oh, well, so many people like it." First of all, this was one of your two takes one time
Yeah.
that like I can't remember exactly what you said, but somebody not watching something or not liking something just because so many other people, it don't make you cool. It don't add you to
Right.
no fucking club. Eat a
Right.
mean one, actually. Please, like, to hop off
Exactly.
it. Fuck.
Yeah.
So, but like she was saying, talking about like how people love to like give their grand fucking opinions on things that they've not watched, not consumed at any point. And it's just like, and I commented on it, and we were having a conversation back and forth because I was like, how can you have an actual opinion on something when you haven't consumed it?
Right.
That's like me, somebody coming out with an essay or something or a story, and me reading 2 sentences of it, and it was like, I don't like this. This is terrible. What basis do I have to like say
Right.
that I don't, that like it's terrible? Like you, there's one there's a difference between you saying that you're not interested in something because of like what type of
Right.
story it is or what type of film, whatever, versus you saying something is not good when you
Yeah.
have not actually read it.
Yeah, because there are
And
many
I
things that
think
I'm just
people,
not interested in, you
yes, and I
know,
need
and
people
I'm
to know the
like,
difference.
right, I know I'm not interested, so
I'm
I'm not
not
even
gonna
gonna go over,
do
you
it.
know, like it's fun for y'all. I'm glad y'all having a good time, but
Yeah,
I just know I'm not gonna be
it's not
interested,
my
you know.
thing.
But to say like, yeah, it sucked, it wasn't good, it wasn't this, it wasn't that, like, how do you have an opinion when you haven't
How?
you haven't seen it, you haven't consumed it in any way, you know?
And
Yeah,
you just saying you don't like it because so many people liking it. You're an idiot.
yeah, it's just loser behavior,
Oh,
you know.
it's
It's just, and I'm so conflicted because I equal parts want to understand why somebody would say that,
yeah.
and I also want you to stay far the fuck away from me, you
Yes,
know. But like
actually,
I genuinely
10 feet
want
ho.
to know, like, where does that come
Where
from?
does it come
Like
from?
what do you, again, if you're getting some sort of PhD in sociology or behavioral
Hey,
psychology, please put this on the list. But like I genuinely want to understand, where does that feeling come from?
yeah,
Like I see all these people enjoy this thing, like, so I feel X. What is X? What is that feeling? Like what are you feeling right now that
yeah,
makes you think like, "Oh, they all like it. I don't." Is it, are you making judgments about the people that like it? Are
yeah,
you genuinely wanting to be different and say, because you assume that somebody you encounter is going to enjoy it, so you want to be able to say, "Oh no, I'm the oddball out. I
yeah.
don't." Like what is it that turns you off from things that you consider overrated
Yeah.
because other people really enjoy it?
Now
But
the only,
again, get the fuck away from me because that's loser
please,
behavior. Like, but
please,
I really want to know, like what, why do you feel like that? What are you feeling
the
that makes you think that?
the only time that I feel like you have a little okay valid reasoning is not wanting to get into heated rivalry because you see all of these people in the mass psychosis
Mm,
and
yeah.
and you see how it's literally like taking over everybody's brain. I get
Yeah.
that. You might not want to get it too
Right.
lost in the sauce right now. I feel it.
Right.
Whatever. Understand it. But for you to say that it's terrible just because of that, I don't
Yeah.
get thee behind me, bitch. Because like, what are we talking about? I don't think that that's like valid. But I do understand like you seeing that everybody is going off that Dahlonega and like you not wanting to
Right. But
be in
I
that
feel
state.
like I have seen more people who have seen. I was hesitant to say us. I'm like, we not lost in the sauce. We very much are.
We
But like, I have seen more people that got into heated rivalries because
yes,
of the psychosis, because
yes,
everybody's talking about it, and
yes,
they just didn't want to be left out.
yes.
Like, so I don't know. I'm just
If I
curious.
had a
Like,
nickel for every time somebody came back to me and was like,
yeah,
I watched the show because you won't shut up about it,
yeah,
I'd be rich right now.
yeah. I'm like, I mean, I was already in it, but I feel like that would get me. Like, if I
Yeah.
saw everybody talking about this show, like,
And
I would want to know what they're talking about.
everybody was talking about this show. Like it anywhere that we went,
Yeah.
couldn't get up. Met a girl that came in the shop yesterday, or was it? No, it was the day before yesterday, and she asked if we had a heated rivalry. Every time I say this, rivalry, because it's about to irritate me because I be hearing it. But every time, or she came in and she asked if we had the HR playlist on because some song had,
Mm.
mind you, we didn't.
I
But
didn't
I
know where this was
immediately,
going. I
I,
was like, a heated rivalry drink?
no,
Like,
no,
I was like,
no,
that might be a bit
no,
much,
no,
sister.
playlist because we
Like,
play music,
okay.
and so, but I immediately put on my Moon My Mien because I love that song, but, but ended up talking to her for like 10 minutes about it, and she was like, it's her boyfriend was talking about her being obsessed with it, and then like multiple people in the line started talking about it and was into the conversation, like that shit
Yeah.
is like a drug. I told you he sprinkled a little something in it before he released that shit. Jacob Tiernan, you in fact put something in that shit. But
Yeah.
I do think that like I do think it's a real lame ass take to have that just because so many other people like something or think that something's great or are talking about something that makes you not want to talk. I do think that's a
Yeah.
really lame.
Yeah.
I do
I
think it's
just
really
want to know
lame to
where it
take
comes
that.
from. Like,
I don't know. I don't if it was somebody wanting to be cool. I don't know because um
it just feels like it would make you uncool. I'm like, if
yes.
I'm surrounded by people that I assume all enjoy this thing, and
Hmm.
I'm the one person that's like, actually, I don't like it. I hate it. Like, I feel like that would make everybody around me not like me, like, or
Yes.
they would be looking at me crazy, like, oh,
I
what's wrong
also
with you? Like, I feel like it wouldn't make me unique. It would make
no.
me the oddball out.
I
Like,
also have FOMO. Y'all
yeah,
all enjoying this shit, and I'm not
right.
in. No, I need to know what's. I need to be in on that too. What are we
Yeah,
talking about?
I don't know.
No, I just
If you're one of those people, like, you
let me
are a
know.
loser, but please, send me a DM or something and let me know like why you feel that way,
Why do you feel
because
that way?
I genuinely want to understand that feeling, because I don't know. I've never experienced it. Like, there have
No.
been many things that have happened in pop culture over the almost 30 years I've been alive, like,
Yeah.
and I feel like I have experienced a lot of them. Like,
Yeah.
some of them were for me, some of them weren't. But there was never a point where I was like, "Oh, everybody likes this thing. I'm
I'm not
immediately
gonna get
turned
it.
off." I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm like, if anything, I'm more interested to
Yeah.
see like why everybody is so whatever. Like, why it has y'all in the chokehold like that. So I don't know.
The one time, well, I don't even think it counts because it wasn't along the same lines of why I didn't watch it. Naruto, the anime,
Hmm.
my brother tried to get me into that for like a good 10 years. I knew a lot of people because I was, in fact, a part of the group that liked anime before like it was a thing
Hmm.
and like people think you're weird, yada, yada, yada. Anyways. um,
Yeah,
and
there's a
so,
stereotype about
yeah,
anime.
yeah. And so, um, he tried to get me into it for like a good 10 years before I did. I did know a lot of people that really really loved it, liked it, whatever. That wasn't the reason why I didn't want to
Hmm.
watch it though. It just was the way in which my brother was explaining it to me. I felt like
Fair.
that was some shit that I wouldn't want to watch. Then I started watching it. I say to this day that I will not watch One Piece because it has over 1,000 episodes, and I'm not about to do that. But I
Sheesh.
happily sat down and binged 500 episodes of Naruto to catch up.
Mm.
That's the only thing that I can ever think of though. Like, because I've never been that type of person that's just like, I don't want to watch this because
Yeah.
so many other people watch it. Like, there's valid reason to not want to watch something, and you just saying that like, oh, it's mainstream and like everybody else is stuck on it.
Yeah.
I just don't think that like that's a valid reason.
Yeah. I hear it a lot. And I will also add, usually when I hear people say like, oh, this is overrated, or just something that's like super popular in general, like I said, I myself will want to experience it. And
Yeah.
there have been many times where I will experience it and I'm like, oh, I don't like this, you know?
Yeah.
But I can usually, again, maybe this comes from being able to think critically and with nuance, but I usually can see and understand why people are as hooked as they are. Even if
Yeah.
I myself am not hooked,
I
I like,
understand.
perfect example for me, Taylor Swift.
Oh.
I I wouldn't call myself a Swiftie.
Yeah.
I always say like I have an Airbnb in the Swiftie neighborhood because like I go back and forth. Like there's definitely some albums that I'm like, oh, this fucking eats. Like, and then
Yeah.
there's some that I'm just like, oh, this ain't for me. But when I hear a lot of people say, and it's not even just Taylor Swift, Beyonce too. Like they're like, oh, she's overrated. She's this, she's that. And I always like, I'm like, okay, why? Why do you think she's
Yeah.
overrated? Like, is it just because you don't like her music? Her music doesn't speak to you? Because I, although I would never say like, oh, she's my favorite artist in the world, I get why people are obsessed.
Yeah.
Like whether it's the songs, like
Yeah.
the simplicity, and I don't mean this in like the shady way that people use it, but like the simplicity of the lyrics,
Yeah.
like the music, like they, not all of her songs, but like
Yeah.
many of her catchy songs are very simple,
Yeah.
easy songs.
Yeah.
Like the lyrics are easy, the words are easy, like the meaning is just to be fun.
Yeah.
It's not crazy metaphors and stuff that she uses in other songs. Like you just meant to shake it off. Like
Yeah.
that's it, like so like I can see why people would be drawn to her
Yeah.
or to her music and whatever. Like I can understand that without necessarily being lost in the sauce
Yes.
myself. And so again, it just makes me wonder like
I think that
where's this coming
also,
from?
I don't know where it comes from, but like that makes us a good point. I think that also has to do with like people not understanding the audience that things are intended for.
Yeah,
Taylor Swift is huge in the audience that she's marketing to,
exactly.
and there's a reason for that. And
Exactly.
like, I'm not a part of that target audience,
Right.
so I
And that's
don't
okay.
resonate with it, and that's okay. I don't
Yeah, everything's
resonate
not
with
for
it,
everybody.
but I do in fact know why she goes dumb in the audiences
Right.
that she does.
Right. They love
Like I
her.
get, they love her
Yeah.
down, and like I get why they do, and I get that like that's her target audience. The same thing with Beyonce.
Yeah.
She knows her audience. She
Yeah.
knows who she's marketing to, and then also, um, I love Beyonce. So
Yeah.
just
Yeah. And
I feel
like
like
that's
I'm
why
in that target audience.
that's why I said Taylor Swift because
Yeah.
I have also, again, self-awareness. I
Yeah.
have learned about myself over the years that when someone says to me they don't like Beyonce, I immediately think less of them. I hate to say it. I really really do. I
Yeah.
really do. But like there is a bias on my part.
Yeah.
But I have also seen many people that will say like Beyonce is just not my type of music.
Yeah.
That's not she's not my type of artist, but she works very hard. Like
Yes.
her music is
Yeah.
good. Like her work ethic is there. Like and I think those things come from critical thinking and
Yes.
nuance. Being able to say like, oh, this is not for me, but I understand why it's for you.
Yeah.
I think that, and again, we will get back to those two
We
episodes
will.
of his and hers.
But I mean, like y'all know
But
we
like,
yap. That's
yeah,
what we're
right,
here
right, right.
for.
But I feel like a perfect example of this was, I'm pretty sure it was last year or maybe a year before, like when Sabrina Carpenter was blowing up.
Yeah.
And I think she was doing an interview with Gayle King or something like that, and she said something to the effect of, I don't care if Tommy in Arkansas doesn't like my music. Like that's I didn't write this music for him.
He's not
Like
writing
I think
for it.
that's a perfect example of like your target audience is your target audience.
Yes.
Like you can't make something that's gonna appeal to every.
Everybody.
I'm like, even people like Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, like they had haters too. You know, like
Facts.
there's somebody out there right now who probably holding a grudge against Michael
Yes.
Jackson right now. Oh, I couldn't stand him. I always hated, oh, I couldn't
Yep.
stand Whitney Houston. I hated every song. Like there's no way to please everybody. And that's
Nope.
anything, music, movies, song, content creation. Like
Yes.
there's no way to please everybody. But I do think it's different when you can say like, I consume this and it's just not for me
Yeah.
versus all of these people enjoy this thing, so I know I'm gonna hate it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
which is crazy coming from a hater. Okay, I am a freelance hater. I
Hey,
will I will hate something into the ground, respectfully. But
I told
like,
somebody that earlier, and I was like, above all things,
right,
I'm a
I'm a hater
hater.
first
I'm a
before
hater.
anything.
And like, sometimes you just gotta know who you are.
Yeah,
And like, you'll move through life like a little bit easier once you just
yeah,
know who you are. Because everybody don't want to be a hater, and I'm just like, girl, I'll own that.
yeah.
I'll take
That's
that
okay.
title. I am in fact a hater.
Yeah, I
And if I
hate
hate
enough for
something, I just
five
hate it.
people, so I got to counteract it
You
somewhere out
know.
there. And
Oh,
that's
let
cool.
me not knock the mic over. Yeah, no, I'm a hater, and I'm gonna hate, and that's that on that.
Yeah,
But yeah, I do think like people also, when it comes to watching TV shows and like films or whatever, they also have target audiences,
yeah,
and like a lot of changes within like, because I also think that that's one of the reasons why heated rivalry
yeah,
worked, because it knew, like, Jacob knew who the target audience was, who the original audience was for the books.
yeah,
A lot of people also like just need to realize, if you're not in that target audience, then like you're probably not gonna resonate with it.
yeah,
It's not a reason for you to dislike it. It just wasn't. It wasn't made for
yeah.
you, Bookie.
And specifically for people that have that mindset of like, all these people like it, so I clearly won't. It is also possible for you to fall in and out of a target audience.
Yes.
Like, perfect. I was wondering if we were going to get through this episode without bringing this up. Clearly, I'm not.
No.
911. I feel like when that show came out, I
I was
was
target
I was the
audience.
target audience, and
Yes.
like I was locked in, right? But now they have made non-buddy related decisions, because you always got to clarify that.
Yes.
They have made decisions that I feel like I have fallen out of the target audience.
Facts.
But I also assume that there are some people who have fallen in,
Yes.
based on some of the changes that they've made over the
Yes.
years. Like, so it's very much possible for you to start in the target audience and then fall out, or
Yeah.
not be in it at all, but
Yeah.
you experienced it and now you're like, oh, this is for me. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know how I went all my life without this, right? And I think that was definitely the case for Heated Rivalry too. Like, there were a lot of people who were like, this is not something I would ever like I said,
Yeah.
I saw people like content creators who ain't never talked about a TV show or a movie on their page at all.
Ever.
And now they got 12 videos about Heated Rivalry.
Yes.
Like I feel like there are a lot of people who like, this is not their normal thing that they would
Yeah.
consume. It normally would not attract them, but for some reason, whether it was because everybody's talking about it and they have FOMO, don't want to be left out,
Mm-hmm.
or they stumbled across it on accident or whatever, now they're the target audience. So it's like you can go in and out,
You definitely
like,
can.
just because you think that something isn't for you or wasn't created for you doesn't mean that you can't also enjoy it
Yeah.
and become a part of
The target
this
audience.
audience.
Yeah. That's very true. That's very true. But I think, I don't know, unless like you are critiquing shows and watching them for a certain reason, or a reason other than just consuming it, then I don't know if they're like actually thinking about who's the target audience. And I get that. I get
Yeah.
that that's kind of just like what we be, the type of time we be
Yeah.
on. Especially if I dislike something, I stop and I'm like, oh, okay, this just really wasn't,
Yeah.
it wasn't meant to be pushed to me. Like, I didn't
Right.
fall into that category of people that would like this. In particular, and let me wait. I think I've said this before, that every action movie doesn't need a romance.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need a love story in it. I am a woman who loves romance. I am a woman who, I don't like them lines to be blurred though. I think that like in a lot of action movies, they're wanting to market to a broader audience. They don't
Yeah.
want just men coming to the premieres. They also want women, and so they add a little love story in it. It ain't always needed for me, but I also understand that like I'm not the person that they're marketing that to
Yeah.
at that point in time. That's not the I'm not in that target audience. Doesn't mean it's terrible. Doesn't mean it's a crappy movie because it has a romance plot in it.
Yeah.
It just that just one for me. So,
Yeah.
um, but back to his and hers.
Yes.
Was there anything in the second episode that happened though that like I'm trying to think. Was there anything else that I wanted to mention about the show? Um, I
Not really for me.
I don't think so
Yeah. The first
either.
two episodes are very. I'm.
Introductory.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say slow because
Yeah,
there was some very important stuff that
very much
happened,
so.
but the first two episodes like very much set up
Yeah.
the show. Things start to pick up a little bit more 3 through 6.
I am curious. I will ask this question though. Oh, and I don't know if this like if you haven't watched any episodes or you haven't gotten to the end, please log off now and finish it later. But for my people that have watched all of them, I also want y'all to get into the comments and answer this question. Before we got to the end, within like the first couple of episodes, who were you picking to be the culprit?
Hmm.
Out of everybody else, who was like your number one on the list for who did it? Who done it?
Yeah. Mine was definitely Jack. But again, I think this was like the perfect example of them intentionally
Leading,
deceiving you, right?
yeah.
Like wanting you to see what they want you to see
Yeah.
because like from the beginning, the way that he was moving,
Yeah.
throughout the job and then you do find out what his involvement was in the situation, but it wasn't what you thought it was,
Yeah.
like they were very much kind of setting it up for it to be him. It
Yeah.
also didn't help that it was again, this might be a spoiler. It ain't Jack. But like
Yeah.
they're setting it up with his job and like his involvement with the case and like all of these things to make it seem like it's him,
Yeah.
the way that he's moving throughout the case, the
Yeah.
decisions that he's making and hiding here and sneaking here and intentionally leading people astray here
Yeah.
and trying to keep people from digging too deep into this and too deep into that and look here instead, like they're setting it up as if it's Jack,
Yeah.
and I feel like that feeling lasts for honestly all the way up until
The end.
episode 6, kinda like I definitely thought that that's who it was.
Um, for me, I felt like I felt like Jack was the who they were leading us to be in the beginning. I thought it was Anna.
Hmm.
And I only thought it was Anna just because
Spoiler alert: it's not Anna.
yeah. Yeah, that's why I said if y'all ain't watched all
Yeah,
episodes, leave
it's
and
not
don't
Anna.
okay. Um there wasn't necessarily like obviously she was involved and there are a lot of things that were coming out about her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I was necessarily using logic to pinpoint her, but it was more so of like I know y'all are trying to lead me astray.
Mm.
And right now I don't think it was the husband even though he had a whole lot of shady shit going
Right.
on. But I was just like, okay, of the people that we have right now, the players that we have right now, who would gain the most from them being dead, with like reviving her career and
Mm-hmm.
yada yada yada, but then also taking out them at the same time. So I was like, okay, she would gain the most from it. And it also the way in which they were going about the show just was like they were wanting to lead us to a certain place,
Yeah.
and I was just like, but it's not that person that they're trying to lead us
Yeah.
to. So then that's
I
so I was
definitely
just like, yeah,
considered it. I was because again, like the person that I originally thought it was, I thought it was them because
yeah,
they were intentionally like left out of the story.
yes,
Like
yes,
okay, like clearly this person is involved, but
yeah,
nobody's thinking of it. So like I definitely feel like there was an aspect of me like trying to peek behind the curtain, so to speak. Like, okay, you're
yeah,
putting this in front of my face, but I'm trying to see what's going on back
yeah,
there. And even that was wrong.
yeah.
Like even that didn't help me like
I was just like, no,
ultimately figure it out, who it
yeah,
was. But
that was
yeah, curious to know like who people thought it
yeah,
was. At least, in the beginning.
yes. But yeah, we're also going to continue with his and hers. The next episode will be our review for episodes 3 and 4, and then we'll do another one for 5 and 6. But I think for today, that's gonna wrap the press play segment. We're gonna move on into two takes, and that's our segment where we give you two hot takes, lukewarm takes, whatever opinions that could be about any genre. It's just two thoughts that are on our mind today. I'm gonna let you go first because we know I probably ain't got none right now.
Okay. My first take for this week is um we, and I'm saying we as in a generalized, like, people in fandom, people who consume TV, movies, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Not we like you and I, but like just we. Um Sometimes overuse the word bad writing
Yeah.
to mean this didn't go how I want it.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like, and of course I do have examples, but like disappointment in the direction of a project is not necessarily a plot hole.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like a character making a choice that you dislike or would not have foreseen for them
Yeah.
is not automatically a failure to the story or to the narrative.
Yeah.
And I also think that a story prioritizing themes or tones or like long-term story arcs over fan expectations doesn't necessarily mean that the writer doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Um, Bad writing, which we have seen a lot of, are things like inconsistencies or a lack of setup or lack of build up or broken internal logic or dialogue, things like that. Um, Not just things that you really, really want to happen and then they don't. Um, Perfect example: Buddy versus Bobby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bobby, horrible, horrible writing,
Bad
horrible
writing. For sure.
storytelling. There was no rhyme or reason for that to
Yeah.
happen. That to me was bad writing.
Yeah.
The fact that Buddy has not happened is not necessarily bad writing to me.
Yeah.
Now, has it been there all along? Absolutely. Were there a million opportunities for you to make Buddy real and make it happen? Absolutely. Were there a lot of natural points throughout the years that the show has been on for it to happen? Yes.
Yes.
I do not think that the fact that it has not happened means that the story isn't good.
Yeah.
And and there are probably a lot of people that feel differently about that, you know, like, and I respect your decision. We have been baited for many, many years.
Yeah.
But to me, I feel like that man that shares my name doesn't know what he's doing, not because of Buddy, but because of decisions like killing Bobby, like
Yeah.
sending them to space,
Yeah.
you know, I feel like there have been a consistent stream of these horrible decisions that have been made that are completely out of character for who
Yeah.
these people have been for years, that make me feel like you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because Buddy isn't canon.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I don't trust you to make it canon because
No.
I feel like it's going to be a mess. It's
No.
going to be done poorly. But that is a
There's a difference.
that is a difference. I think another good example is Destiel, like
Yeah.
for Supernatural. Like Supernatural was a really good show. I think it was well written for as long as it was on, but I know that there's also a lot of people that lump it into the category of like, oh, this wasn't good or this writer didn't know what they were doing because Destiel didn't happen.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that there's a difference there, you know,
Yeah.
just because like you think that something should have happened and it didn't doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad project or it was written poorly or it has bad writing
Yeah.
just because that thing didn't
Didn't
happen.
happen. Yeah. I will say, though, to add to that, I wholeheartedly agree. I also do, though, think that, like, Buddy not happening can be a signal of bad writing because you wrote yourself into a hole.
And you can't
You
get yourself out
that
of
you
it.
can't
You
get
know.
yourself out of. And I like, and not just like Buddy not happening, but the way in which like they write or like have had the show gone, it kind of points you in a certain direction and like you put yourself into a corner. And that's honestly that's bad show running.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna say bad writing. That's bad show running. Like you lead fans to believe this thing, actually, and kind of, and I think this was, I think I found my take. Um, but I do think, yeah, there's absolutely a difference between like bad writing and, yeah, they do use, you know, on the internet, everybody learned a term or
Mm-hmm. And they won't get off
and
it.
they
Mm-hmm.
won't get off of it and they throw it around and use it for everything when it's not, it doesn't go, shouldn't be used in this example or in this space. And I think that's one of the drawbacks of the internet, and I think that's actually going to be my take. But yeah,
Okay.
I definitely agree, though. I definitely agree. The Bobby thing was bad
Yeah.
writing.
It made no sense.
There's no other explanation.
Yeah.
It was absolutely bad writing.
Yeah. And even the buddy thing, like looking at it from that perspective of like you wrote yourself into this
Into a
and
hole.
you still won't finish it, that is bad writing. But
It's
I
bad
think for
writing.
people to say like, "Oh, Buddy isn't canon, the show isn't good," like
That's yeah.
I think that might be a stretch,
It very
you
much
know.
is because like the show is good like without like the relationships that it has in
Yeah.
it or like the romantic relationships. Like the show has good bones, good meat.
Yeah.
Without it, does it suck that you've written yourself into a hole and like not taking this turn that you've had the fucking blinker on for
Yeah.
like the last 6 years? Yes. Does it mean like it gets bad writing?
Yeah.
No, but it is crazy for you to write yourself into a hole and it's just like never
Right.
go there. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because he could have easily dug himself out of it by
yeah,
either making it canon or shutting it down completely.
yeah,
And like especially like when we got to the like, oh, it wouldn't be so crazy for you to be in love. You know, like
yeah,
that would have been the time to either make it happen or shut it down.
yeah,
Like, no, I'm absolutely not in love with him. Like, and these are all the reasons that I'm not. You know, like there are
yeah,
so many ways that we could have either made that happen
definitely.
or just left it alone, you
Yeah,
know.
because like it just doesn't make sense as far as like the things in which they do. Because obviously, when we're watching TV or like we're consuming shows and stuff, we're taught to pay attention to like the little details. And like in some of the scenes where they're giving speeches or like at the first whatever, and when each person's talking, it's showing their partners and stuff.
Right.
And then for them to motherfuckers, you got them each other showing. What are we
Exactly.
talking about? Okay,
Exactly.
you write everybody else in good romantic relationships, and them two just
Can't
doing
seem to get it
whatever. Can't
right.
seem to
You
get it
know.
right at they ripe old age of 34, whatever, however old they are, and but you write them so consistently in each other's lives. Like, what are we getting at?
Yeah.
What are we getting at? Like, it just. And if I wholeheartedly believe if one of them was in fact a female, we would have been had them
Right.
together. And so, yeah, whatever. Like it just it's you wrote yourself into a hole and like baited us the entire time,
Yeah.
and that's where we are. Yeah, yeah. Great take though. My my first take, let's see how I'm going to word to that. My take is that Twitter has ruined.
What is it ruined?
How can I say this? Everything, actually. In particular, though, the way in which we critique things and the vocabulary that we use for it. Twitter has absolutely ruined it. People
Hmm.
get on Twitter, see a word, see a thing, and just automatically like take it and run with it. One of the things that like we're talking about with 911 is the queer baiting.
Hmm.
And while I do think that it is in fact something that a creator of a show can do, this singular celebrity that does not want to tell you what their sexuality is not queer baiting you.
Yeah.
They're not queer baiting you. A show that has written two of their main characters as love interests in each other's lives, subtly, and then also have went on campaigns to have these certain two actors go and do press tours together and like show all of their fucking chemistry. That's definitely queer baiting you, babes.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely queer baiting you. Get it? Got it, right? This singular actor that seems to be very affectionate with like their friends and things, but just doesn't blatantly tell you that their what their sexuality is. That's not
Right.
queer baiting. And I need us to know the difference, and I need us to hop up off of Twitter and relax. Same thing with calling everybody narcissist.
Mm.
Not everybody's a narcissist. Can people have narcissistic tendencies? Absolutely. Does that mean that you learn this word off Twitter and that you can go around
Right.
diagnosing everybody with it? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think that's how that goes. And I think it's really it for me when it comes to people actually critiquing TV shows and like films, and then also critiquing actors for certain things that they do or don't. The way in which people just throw words around and like one can be very harmful, but also just cheapens like you actually having your own opinion on
Yeah.
something. You can feel a way, but like also just I think do a little Google search right quick.
Yeah.
Do a little thesaurus or like something to know the words in which you're actually using and what they mean and like what they insinuate before just throwing them shits around. Um, yeah, I do think that like social media has been great for a lot of reasons. In the space of intellectuality, I don't think it's been great. I think that yeah, um I think social media has done a lot of good things. I think for critical thinking, it's been terrible.
Yeah.
I think that yeah. I don't think everybody got their thinking cap on. I think everybody want to use Chat GPT and easily want to find an
Yeah.
answer to something and like say something, and everybody wants to feel like they have like these grandiose opinions about these things, and it's like
Saying anything.
you're not actually saying any fucking thing. But yeah, and I'm not saying that to say that like we cannot be queer baited. We absolutely
Mm-hmm.
can. Or people cannot be narcissistic. They absolutely can. But it would help if you actually knew the meaning of those words and knew what context to use them in.
Yeah. Because that's not one. Mm.
No. No. And I know you know exactly.
Yeah. I don't know why we're not saying Hudson and Connor. Like, I'm like, everybody knows exactly. But,
Everybody
like,
knows
it is a
exactly.
perfect example. And I feel like we talked about this in one of our Heated Rivalry episodes.
Yeah.
They don't want to fuck you.
They don't
And
want
I
to fuck
think that's why
you.
where a lot of people,
Yes.
get that from. Like, I, it blows my mind. Like, the the quickness in which people become social justice warriors about certain
Yes.
things and like
Yeah.
will try and make it seem like I'm doing this because I'm a social justice advocate
Yes.
and it is just really important to me that queer actors are playing queer.
Yeah.
You ain't never gave a fuck and a
You
half
ain't
before.
never.
You ain't never, and now all of a sudden it's these two fine actors. You must know
You gotta
if
know.
right. It's like e- because what does it change?
Nothing.
Like if they were to both say, "Yeah, we gay," like
What is that?
what
What
does
is that?
what does that do? How does that change anything about the work that they created?
No.
Like how does that change anything? I think a lot of people see it from the perspective of like I kind of want to fuck this person. If they
Yeah.
were gay, that would give me more of a chance. Like,
But it's not.
but it's not, and
You
it
know,
doesn't.
this
So,
this this one motherfucker is from Canada,
yeah,
and
like,
like, and this other one is like, and they're like, even if they meet you on the street, they're not. I don't think they're
yeah,
actively looking to pick you up and take you home. But then also, we did talk about this, and I made a video about it because like everybody was up in arms when they went on like their unfollowing spree, and like I think Hudson had like unfollowed all of his family, but like they zeroed in on the fact that he unfollowed his girlfriend, and they were just like, "Oh my god!" And we're thinking like he was being malicious, like trying to hide his relationship. Mind you, him wanting to unfollow her, how is that malicious?
Right.
Second of all, them folks don't owe y'all nothing
At all.
but what they was paid to do, and they don't owe y'all that. Actually, they
Yeah.
could have did a terrible fucking performance, and that just like they
They
would have
still
got
owe
paid
you
for it, and
nothing.
still owe you
You know.
nothing. Like them people do not owe anything besides what they were paid to do. It's not malicious if somebody wants to keep their sexuality. And each one of them, both have been like very vocal about like their support of the
Right.
LGBTQ plus community, and
So why
like,
is that not enough?
so why is that not enough? It is also like crazy to me that I understand that like it's also like the idolization of like celebrities and things on like that conversation that needs to be had, because at the end of the day it is also a profession. It is
Right.
not it's not some grandiose things. I know that like because they are on our TV screens and we feel like this person is like above or higher because they're doing these things, but at the end of the day it is a profession that they're being paid to
Right.
do. The same way that like you can't walk into your office and your boss can't be like, "Are you gay?" Like, is you gay?
Right.
And like hire you or not, based on like it's just it's not like I do understand like the people having the conversation of wanting gay and queer roles to go to gay and queer actors, but like ethically there's not a way to do
Right.
that and it it'd be okay. So
Yeah.
I think it like we have to recognize it is a profession, and like anyone that has to abide by the same sort of rules and policies to
Yeah.
follow to make it happen. So yeah, off
Yeah.
my soapbox for that though, but like
The unfollowing his girlfriend was crazy. I was
yeah,
like,
but he unfollowed
this
like
is what
everybody. I
we're
think he has like zero.
choosing to be upset
This is
about.
what we're choosing to be upset about.
Like what does that
Mind you,
matter?
have y'all been seeing the way that like y'all like some of the people in the fandom have been talking about that lady?
Yeah.
So like he actually, if I was, I would unfollow every fucking body I know because y'all are
Yeah.
terrible. Like,
And even if that even outside of that, like what does it matter?
what does it
Who is
matter?
followed or unfollowed?
What does it
Like
matter?
I'll block somebody because I don't like the way their name is spelled. Like
Literally,
you can unfollow, follow, block people as you see fit. Like the only difference
yes.
is like now you all up in this man business because he was on that show. You know, like
You're all up in this man business because he played a character on
yeah,
the
and it's
show,
like you forget that
and
they're
you
also
can't.
real people. Like you
They're
would not
real
do this
fucking
to a
people.
real person. Like I'm like I just
No.
wish people would think like what if this was you? Like, what if
Yes.
somebody in your life right now, maybe you got 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 followers on Instagram,
Yeah.
and there's somebody in your life who is watching you so closely that they notice that you just unfollowed this person, and they go and tweet about it.
Go and tweet about it.
Like, you don't. You, and
It's
it's because they don't see them as real people anymore. I
yeah.
think they see them as these like high unattainable beings, like you said. But it's like
They're
if you would
humans.
just remember that they are actual real
Humans.
people, like if somebody was doing the same thing that you're doing to them, like I think
It's
you would feel differently.
And it's crazy to me because like when people go and like dox streamers and like people on social media, whatever, people are up in arms about it. But in my opinion, like the same type of fandom behavior, like that's the same as like doxing people to me. Because he never said that was his girlfriend. You went and picked this girl that he's had pictures with, that he's been seen with, said it's his girlfriend. Now everybody's attacking her and talking about this and talking about that. Or like it's just, it's. It's okay when this streamer that you think is a normal person that's in their house on or like playing a game or whatever, you hate when they get doxxed.
Right.
But somebody that's in this show that you have this parasocial relationship with, it don't fucking matter then.
Yeah.
It just people draw the line in the sand in weird ways, and that's annoying. But I just want really like people in the fandom to relax.
Yeah.
I
Just
just
breathe.
relax,
Yeah.
and I'm off my soapbox for
Just breathe before
this
you
man.
ruin it for all of us.
Please, please, because I don't get me wrong, which is so funny. In that little puppy interview, when Oliver was like, "I think actors shouldn't be a part of like being the
Yeah.
fandom," and Aisha and Eddie, or why I call him man Eddie because I don't acknowledge the other man. Aisha and Ryan was like, "Yeah, no."
Yeah.
They was like, actually, you don't know what you're, shut your ass up because you don't know
Yeah.
what you're talking about. And I actually love that.
Yeah.
I like
Mhm.
when the actors like are in the fandom and like they interact and like the way in which we keep them doing that is not being so fucking weird.
Yeah.
Stop being weird, y'all. Please, please. Like them is they babies. They young as hell. Just like they first big role.
Right.
Y'all dragging it. Y'all are dragging it. Please relax. Please like let them live. I would like for them to continue and like not have to experience all the weird shit. But yeah, I'm off my soapbox on that one.
Hmm. Great take. Okay, my second take. Um,
I need a second take while I'm sitting here.
okay. My second take is I'm getting distracted because we're watching Charmed in our
Interact.
little
Yeah.
studio, and I hate the scene of Kira being killed. Oh, it hurts my heart. Um,
Oh.
okay, my second take. A lot of fandoms
Uh oh.
of all kinds,
Mhm. Mhm.
not just the ones we're part of, confuse. I wouldn't tolerate this in real life with this shouldn't exist in fiction. And I think that is where fandom discourse kind of goes off the rails.
Yeah.
Um, I see fiction as not being a rule book.
Yeah.
It is a space to explore messiness
Yeah.
and power and discomfort and things like that in a way that doesn't cause real world harm.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like you don't have to want something for yourself to find it compelling on screen or even on a page, like in a book. Not every character. I feel like this is related to another take that we've had before, but like, not every character is meant to be a role model or a
Facts.
good person. Like, not every relationship is meant to be aspirational.
Yeah.
Some of them are written to be like, yeah, maybe you should stay away from this. You
Yeah.
should steer clear. Um, I think that disliking a story is valid. We,
Mm-hmm.
we literally just talked about that. Everything is subjective. But saying that something shouldn't exist because it wouldn't work in real life or it's something different than you would like
Like,
or would
yeah.
want to experience is not the best. And I feel like there are a lot of not even projects, but like there's a lot of discourse around shows and books and movies that explore concepts of things that in real life are just not great. Perfect example, Steric.
Yeah.
I feel like and that is and if you're here from TikTok, no, I have not made the stare at video. And this is part of the reason why, right? Like, I feel like, again, critical thinking, nuance. Like, I can enjoy the idea of steric in fandom and fan fiction and also find that same very concept in real life to be disturbing.
Yeah.
And I feel like people assume that it's either one or the other. Like,
Yeah.
you can't enjoy this in a fiction sense because it's not right in a real life
Yeah.
sense. Like, I feel like I saw people, having the same conversation about Tommy and Buck
Yeah.
because of the age gap, right? Like, different age gap because they're both like adults and Steric is a different, situation. But like, I feel like a lot of people feel like you can't enjoy certain things in a fandom fiction space because it means that you also enjoy them in real life. Like, you
Yeah.
can't acknowledge that this is great because it's not real,
Yeah.
but in real life this is absolutely disturbing,
Yeah.
disgusting. Like, I would never entertain this for myself or anybody
Yeah.
else. And I feel like that is where and Steric was just the first thing that came to mind because we have been rewatching Teen Wolf and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But I feel like that level of discourse has deteriorated a lot of fandoms
Yeah,
over the years
for
of
sure.
like people saying like this thing happened, this fictional thing happened, right? And because somebody enjoyed this, like again, another Teen Wolf example, Parrish and Lydia.
Yeah, that was a
Like
big one too.
I was rooting for them bad in the show, right? Like I feel like they were written with this chemistry, like both as characters but also as supernatural beings. They were
Yes.
drawn to each other, right? So like and again, I've said before, I watched the show when I was their age. So I was
Same.
also a teenager. So it never occurred to me like, oh, this is a grown man, this is a teenager.
No.
Like I was like, oh yeah, girl, you better go ahead and,
Get your man,
right,
Pookie.
go ahead and slide in that little office. So but like even seeing it now as an adult, I'm like, I can see that and think, yeah, the chemistry was there, the writing was there, they should have done it, but also acknowledge like in real life, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like what y'all got in common, like so yeah, I feel like that I kind of forgot what the take was, but I feel like that concept has really sent fandom discourse over the edge
For sure.
sometimes because people feel like it has to be all or nothing.
Yeah.
Like if you like this here, you must also like it in real life,
Yeah.
And there are some things in fandom that I'm just like, oh, that's a bit much for me.
That's yeah.
That's crossing the line for me.
Actually, clink
Like
clink.
right,
You
right.
probably need
Fandom
to.
or real life, like that's
Yeah.
crossing the line for me.
You.
But there are some I feel like it is possible to have a nuanced opinion when it comes to fiction,
Yeah.
shows, movie, books, like things that like you can enjoy here because it's written well, it's portrayed well, that you would not entertain
Yeah.
in real life.
I think that um, people are. What's the thing? Because one of my takes in the past was like two things can be true.
Right.
A lot of people lack like that practice in their life. A lot of people think that like things have to be so black and white, like they ignore the gray area, or also just think that like it's things can't be enjoyed on a spectrum, that it has to be an extreme. You have to be on this end or you have to be on that end instead of like being somewhere in the middle or like in the middle of the middle type of
Yeah.
thing. It always has to be just like very extreme. And I think that like enjoying your life, like you're not going to enjoy it if you're always on the extreme of something. And if you're not acknowledging that two things can be true. I can, in fact, read this book where some shit going on in there that I'll never in a million years allow a man to do to me in real life.
Right.
And I can enjoy that and I can consume that and I can be on that and then I can go back to my real life and
Right.
you better worship the ground that I walk on,
Right.
kissing these feet. What are we talking about? Like it's the
Perfect
point.
example, 50 Shades of Grey.
50
People
Shades of
love that story,
Grey.
but in real life, you would never let anybody treat
Never.
you like that.
Y'all,
Ever.
and all I'm gonna say is hunting out of line. I ain't even read that story, but y'all know what happened in it, and I know what happened in it, and y'all ate that book up. But would you want that in your real life? No. There's like that also ties into kink shaming. And like that's a whole nother because like that also within the fandom of like people feeling like, oh, you can't enjoy this and because that's a whole thing on AO3 too. Can't enjoy this and can't enjoy that. Well, I actually came across a tweet the other day that was just like, what's the one fic that made you start a private bookmark list so that
Mm.
other people can't see it? And like there was some shit in there, and I said, oh. Y'all gets down y'all gets down with the get down, and I said okay, and I like that, but like obviously this might not be something that I'm into in real life, but am I reading about it? Am I like in? Yes, I do think that like people. I don't know. People, I feel like a lot of things contribute to why people feel that way, go down that road. I don't know. Everybody wants to be a social justice warrior.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be on the high and mighty road. Everybody also just enjoy your life, y'all. We here for a little bit of time. It's okay for you to enjoy things
Yeah.
and like not like it not be something that you might practice in real life. Like that's the whole point, and like I don't know, because that's something else that like irritates me when it comes to fandom, or mostly, and most important to me, like fanfic.
Hmm.
It's the um, wanting to police what people are into, what they want to read about, because it absolutely has to be like, if you're reading about it, then like that's what you're doing in your real life.
Right.
That's not it. That's not it, babes. That's
Yeah.
not it. That's this. That ain't even. No, no, and it irritates me for people that read romance novels that be on that type of time, because like a lot of the dark romance, the shit that be happening there. So you mean to tell me you reading that, you eating that up, and that's what you be doing in your real life too?
Yeah.
I need to call the law. What are we talking about? Like, don't piss me off. But I do think it all just really does boil down to like people not um, having duality in your life. Two things can
Yeah.
be true. This can be things that you enjoy or whatever to read about or indulge in at a certain point in your life, don't now, or like it just doesn't bleed over into like real life. But you also just don't need to be running around trying to police nobody else and what they decide to enjoy, like in them being sure of themselves and knowing that like, oh, this is something I enjoy, fan fiction, it's not what I do in my real life. It just let people be.
Yeah.
And also, bitches out there, two things can be true. I can like this in a fanfic. I can like this in a little show. It can be great for me to watch it. Don't mean that I'm into that in real life. Okay? Yeah. I think that's a great take though. Actually. Yeah. I think that's a really good take. Um I don't got my second take. I didn't queue up nothing. My second take for today is, let's see. There was one though. Okay, give me 30 seconds. Because you said something that made me think of something. Um, oh, um, because this one's not even gonna be like a hot take. It's not even like anything too crazy. My second take for today is I think that adults who lean into their obsessions are well rounded people. I
Hmm.
think that the adults in the world that allow themselves the joy of whatever it is that they're liking at the time, to me, those people are either like just not necessarily rested in themselves, but like okay with themselves, okay with their interests. And I feel like that typically the ones, at least the ones that I know, make for well rounded people.
Hmm.
Tell me about your obsession. Whether it's a video game, whether it's and I guess let wait. Maybe not necessarily well rounded people, but I think that like the people who lean into their obsessions and their interest, I will say well rounded actually. I take that back. Because I think growing up when we were taught about like what it meant to be well rounded, it was oh, a person who has studied this and studied that and like has worked on their personality, yada 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 yada. I think the people who tend to be well rounded though lean into their obsessions.
Hmm.
Um, in particular,
I'm assuming you mean fun obsessions, not like stalker obsessions.
yes. Let me clarify. Let me clarify because I feel like my explanation is all over the place at the moment. That's because I just pulled this take out my ass. But I do. It does stand though. The people who like get online and they talk about their obsessions with books, their
Hmm.
obsessions with a TV show, their obsessions with a certain game, their obsessions with like an anime or like a country or like traveling or like things of that sort or like archery or pottery, yada yada yada. I think that because I know a lot of people seem to like make fun of like people who are obsessed with things or like have hyperfixations
Mm-hmm.
on things. And I think I'm the opposite. I think like when I see people that do that, I I think they're like, okay, one, you're not afraid to lean into whatever it is that makes you happy,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of what other people say.
Yeah.
I think it's also you yeah, not giving a fuck what other people gotta say. Um but then also like to me it takes a bit of like courage to just like do what makes you happy, what brings you joy, what
Yeah.
regardless of what that is. And yeah, no, I'm not talking about like stalker obsessions or anything of the sort, but like it has brought me joy like to watch all of the people who have been obsessed with heated
Mm-hmm.
rivalry, because like it kind of brings back like I think when we grow up we're always taught that like as an adult like you're not
Serious.
serious. Everything got to be serious. You can't be obsessed with anything like you used to as a kid. Like when you used to be obsessed with like comic books and like characters and things like that. I think when you become an adult, they always make it seem like you cannot do those types of things anymore. It's
Yeah.
bills. It's I gotta have this house. I gotta do this with my
Right.
kids. I gotta do all of this serious world shit. And I think like the adults who choose to like go against that grain and lean into whatever it is that they really really like. Like I love to see people buying up all them fucking Legos and building them. I'm sorry, I just like oh that's my type of
Yeah.
bitch. When I see people doing that, oh I love it. I will never pass by a Lego building um, TikTok and not like it. I will never pass by somebody showing me 5011 books that they got behind them. I will never pass by somebody showing me like their computer their PC build just for them to play The Sims. I
Yeah.
will never pass by somebody talking about um, them just going out in the woods for 3 weeks off nothing just because they love to be out there type shit. Building like your dream home, like your obsessions, things like that. Like I will never pass by those types of videos. And I do think that they make well-rounded people because like they're just like, oh, I'm going to lean into whatever makes me happy,
Yeah.
regardless of what other people have to say. And while I'm doing these things, while also doing all of the serious shit that people say that I'm supposed to be doing as an adult, but I'm doing
Hmm.
my adult life how I want to do my adult life.
Yeah.
And I think that it does make for well-rounded people because like that's an interesting person that can tell me about like all of the supposedly adult things that they're supposed to, but then also the joys of like life and like the other
Yeah.
interests that they have. Because I've met so many adults who cannot tell me what interest they
Yeah.
actually have.
Yeah. Or as adults, when you ask somebody, "Oh, what do you do?" the first thing you're going to respond is, "Oh, I work X, Y, and
And
Z.
that's not what I'm
This is my
asking about.
job." As
That's
like, but imagine somebody saying, "Oh, I'm a Lego builder." You
yes,
know?
yeah, like that. It just the amount of times that like when I'm talking to people and you ask what do you do, that's their it's their job is their identity.
Yeah.
And so like I feel like somebody who is well rounded, like their identity would include so many things, and it's not your occupation. That is what you do for money.
Yeah.
I no, like oh, any of the jobs I've had, fuck every last one of them. Like that's not my identity, because like if you look at me, excuse me, if you look at me and then try to base my identity off the jobs I've worked, you'll never be able to guess who I am as a real person. Like that has nothing to do with like the things that I like to do. You'll never get the fact that I want to live off in the woods in a tiny house away from everybody else by a
Yeah.
waterfall from like me saying that I was a manager in healthcare. Like you'll never get that like I be writing romance stories and shit of that like and like enjoy writing smut stories
Yeah.
based off me working in a graduate school. Like you'll never you maybe can get some things from a barista because everybody feel like all the like you'll that's a conversation for another day. Cause
Yeah.
y'all know what y'all be thinking about baristas and things and like but like you'll never like know somebody's full identity just off of their occupation, and I think as an adult like that's what we're boiled down to. What do you do for work? Where's your like did you buy a house yet? Do you have kids? So I really just enjoy it, and I feel like I explained it in a weird way, but whatever. Y'all know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. Um, I do think that people who lean into their exceptions are cool.
Yeah.
That's really what it boils down to.
The first people that came to mind when you said that are Disney adults. And they
Yes,
get such a horrible reputation
they
online,
do.
you know, because of their obsession with Disney. But like you said, I never skip those videos. And I think
No.
it's because one, I am an adult. So I know how serious it, you know, like I
Yes.
know how serious life is and can be when you get to adulthood.
Yeah.
And like if you don't find the fun, you you will not live a happy life.
No.
Like there's more to life than working and paying bills
Yeah.
and dying. Like, you know, like
Facts.
you must like when you're a kid, the fun finds you, right?
Yes.
Like there's always you can make something fun out of anything, right? But when you're an adult, like you have to put more effort and intentionality
Yeah.
into finding the fun in your life
Yes.
because it's not just gonna, you know, like you might be lucky to work in a job that's fun and
Yeah.
you find that fun and fulfilling, but like for a lot of people they work because they got to pay bills. Like if
Literally.
they didn't have to pay bills, they probably wouldn't work. You know, like that's what I love when people ask the question of like, you know, if you could do anything, you know, what would it be? You know, and usually it's not the job that I'm currently working,
Yeah.
you know. So I love Disney adults also because like you never know what somebody's childhood was
Yeah.
like what like whether they even had one. And like I've seen
Exactly.
so many adults now who are like now that they have the resources, the means, whatever, reliving their
Yeah.
childhood because they didn't get to
They didn't
have
get
it
it.
for whatever reason, like financial resources. Maybe they had kids and wanted to give their kid the life that,
Yeah.
you know, but now their kids are older and, you know, they have more time and money to obsess over the things that they
Yeah.
didn't obsess about or didn't have the time or means to obsess about before. Um, yeah, I never skip those videos. I love every single one of
Love
them,
them
you know,
down.
because sometimes it's like stuff that never even crossed my mind, you
It,
know?
that's another thing or another aspect of it that like because when I talk about like in media there needing to be more white shoes, to me what it boils down to is like we always portray this one certain way for people to live their lives, and I think that it's very important to know that like that's not the right way to live your life. The way to live your life is whatever makes you happy. The way to live your life is like you are the one that has to live it at
Yeah.
the end of the day. So why do you have these parameters of like what this TV show is saying like the perfect person is or what this book or what society like fuck that. Like
Yeah.
what how you want to live your life is how you want to live your life. And then like if that's you filling the entirety of your house with build a bears, the entirety of your house with like Legos, like do what makes you happy and like it's not harming anybody else. I think we also have this culture of like always wanting to call people weird when they're actually not weird. Is it weird that somebody likes Legos and likes to build them and like put them around the house? I don't find that weird. Now you stalking people on the internet or like you doing weird shit like that, that's actually weird. I feel like that's weird, right? I don't think that like you just liking a certain thing and like taking it to the extreme of like filling your house with it is weird. And that's just my personal opinion because like if I fill my house with a 67 million plants, am I weird because I have an obsession with plants and like I like them? Or is like that quote unquote fine because that's acceptable, but like the Build-A-Bears aren't? It just
Yeah.
I hate the way that like it is portrayed that there's one way to live your life and to be accepted in society for living it that
Yeah.
way. And I would really like for people to break out of the box.
Yeah. I saw a video recently on TikTok of um, this guy and his wife or girlfriend or something. They were, funny enough, at Disney. Um, and he was, I guess there's a, I don't know anything about Disney. I don't know the difference between world, land, none of that. He was at one of them. And I guess there's an experience where you can make a lightsaber.
Yes.
Um, and like he had always wanted to do it, never been able to do it, and like she was like, you know, he is being a kid today, you know, and
I
he was
love
just
that.
like living his. I'm pretty sure we were all crying. I was like, jokes on you, I did want to cry today.
Yeah.
But it was so cool, and like I love seeing videos of people like older people that are like, I'm going back to college to get this degree.
You're gonna make me
I
cry.
had to look her up because I wanted to make sure I got her name right. One of my favorite creators is Kim Hale.
I don't think I know.
She is 58, and I remember I think I followed her like back in the pandemic. I followed her for years, and like her whole page is about like she has always been interested in like dance and Broadway and stuff like that. Um and just never did it. And one day she kind of had this realization of like, I can do anything that my body will allow me to do. So
Yeah.
like, why am I feeling like this dream is unattainable? Like I
Yeah.
can't get it. And so she at like 50 something years old, like I think moved to New York and started dancing. Like she
Oh, that's
makes
gonna make me
dance
cry.
videos on TikTok and, documents her journey of like going to auditions and
Yeah.
like, and it's so cool to like, I know, people always talk about like the parasocial nature of like, influencers and stuff. But I truly feel like I
I
have
know
been
her.
along
Yeah.
this journey. Like I remember like the first video of her dancing, and like now she's like almost 1 million followers, and she's
Oh,
like
that's gonna make me
in
cry.
commercials and like modeling for different
She's in a.
companies, and like
That is
like
so.
literally like made her dream come true,
Oh, I love that. That's gonna make me cry for
like
real.
I know it's so freaking crazy, like it's but like it is so cool to see. And like, people have this feeling of like, oh, I'm X age and my life is over, and like
Yeah.
you have all these expectation of
Ah.
like, I have to do this, I have to do that. And it's like I
Yeah.
love every single time. That's why I hate that TikTok's down right now.
Yeah.
But like I like she is one of my favorite creators. Like every time I see one of her videos, like, and I love that she documents the good and the bad.
Yeah.
Like she has videos of her like, oh, I went to this audition and it didn't go well, or
Mm.
they like, even like things that when people are like, oh yeah, you're a little too old to do X, Y, and Z, like
Yeah.
she documents it all. But like it just makes seeing the videos of her winning, like in her commercial or in this music video or modeling for this company, like I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
she like is either on Broadway or close to it, or like really really trying to be there. Like it just really makes all the wins like so special,
Yeah.
and like I
I
feel
love
like
that.
perfect example of like you can do,
Whatever it is you
there is
want to
no
do.
timeline, like
No.
regardless of what media, books, whatever say you should be doing at certain like age or milestones, like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Like, you can decide to change course tomorrow, and like,
Literally.
and you never know. Like, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that have done it and maybe it didn't work out and they had to pivot again or whatever. But
Yeah.
like, I think that there are a lot more examples of like, you can do this,
Yeah. And
So,
I think, and then that's something I words love seeing, and I think it's often like it's a reminder that I also need because like I think at 18 I was sent to college and I was supposed to figure out what I want to do for the rest of my life, and that's
right.
a heavy burden as an 18-year-old. And I was a person who always had a plan for my life, and then when I got to college and the major that I was doing wasn't doing what I wanted it to do, I wasn't enjoying it, I wasn't um, it wasn't making me happy. Then I had an entire meltdown about it because I didn't have a plan for my life, and like it sent me down a
Yeah.
freaking spiral. And then I graduated college and I didn't do what I wanted to do after that. And like the pivot of my like I've pivoted in my life so much that I felt like a failure for so many things. And then I started seeing that like um just stories like that, inspirations like, no, I didn't go to law school, so I was 36.
Mm.
I'm successful now. I actually started out in this and then didn't do that. I can't remember what age it is, but I know she was in her 30s, Toni Morrison, before she wrote the
Mm.
Bull's, or when she first published the Bull's Eye. And obviously let that lady down.
Yeah.
And so things like that, just watching people go after their dreams, do the things that they want to do, lean into the obsessions that they have. Like I love that because it shows a side of life that like isn't mainstream, and that like people are caught or told to like this is not how you do that. Isn't the way that you should do that. Yada yada yada. I love to see people breaking the barriers because
Yeah.
I feel like that's what life is supposed to do. Like we aren't exposed enough to the different ways in which life can be lived,
Right.
and I think that also plays into why we as like our in our 20s feeling depressed because life isn't going this way and isn't going that way because we don't know of all the options that there are
Right.
because we're pushed one certain way to live our lives. And so yes, for anybody out there that loves their Legos, that love their Build-A-Bears, they Beanie Babies from the 90s McDonald's, because I seen a girl that was collecting them and I was down her journey for her to get every single one. To the people that fill their house with whatever it is you want to fill your house with, baby, I love you down. I support you every step of the way. To Miss Hale, support you, love you. That have never seen you, would like to follow her. Thus, you have to
Yeah,
send me her
I
page.
will.
I genuinely love that because it also gives me hope for all the many things that I want to do in life because I was also that kid that wanted to do a lot and was always told you need to pick one thing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, how can I pick one thing when I love all of these things? And
Yeah.
like, I want to do this and I want to do that. And so, I love just, I love it. I'm gonna get off my soapbox. Y'all been cried in this fucking episode, and like y'all done got a lot out of me today. Um, but yes, I think that wraps
Yeah.
our two take segment. This episode is gonna be long. Um, but yeah, I think that wraps our two takes segment for today. We're gonna move into our very last segment, and that is read the tags. If you don't know, we do in fact dabble in the fan fiction over here. So for the last segment, we typically either give recommendations for fanfics that we love, enjoy, or we answer a question. Not sure what we're
We
doing
didn't
today.
prepare
We
this
did
in
not
advance,
prepare
but
it.
I always have a
You
question,
always
so
have a
I guess we'll go
questions.
that route.
Yes, let's do questions.
But this one will be easy. And as usual, we love to for you to answer as well. Do you prefer fanfics that fix canon mistakes or ones that
Ooh.
completely rewrite the story?
Oh, that's a good one. It is easy, but it's also not because I enjoy both of them. I enjoy both of them because I like AUs. I know a
Hmm.
lot of people really don't care for
Yeah,
AUs, and I know you.
I was an AU
Yeah,
hater.
you
Yeah,
were. You
I have read a
were.
few that have slightly turned me back into that direction, but
Yeah.
yeah, I was an AU hater for
I
a
love a
long
good
time.
AU because like there's some I've been eating up y'all. I don't know if y'all have seen them, but if you're on Twitter, they always do like the social media AUs for like
Mm,
certain shows. Obviously, Heated Rivalry is the one that everybody's on right now. And there's one I think I'm currently reading now that like Shane is like a mind you, I don't think Shane would ever do anything other than hockey, but that's the point of an AU or whatever. I think this one he's like a wedding planner and he's planning
mm,
Ilya and Svetlana's wedding. Mind you, it's a
okay.
forced wedding, whatever, forced
Yeah.
marriage, yada yada yada. But he's their wedding planner, and like that's the story so far. Eating that one up. Another
Okay.
one, they're like in college to get eating that one up. Like I love me a good AU because like I think it's also nice because I just love the characters and I like to see them in different situations. But I will say I like to see them in situations that make sense to the characters. But
Okay.
whatever. But I do think, um, of the two choices you gave though, probably fixing canon mistakes, and I don't because one of the reasons why I lean into fanfic is because the show ain't doing it what I needed to
Right.
do. You
Right.
ain't doing what I need you to do, and so I got to go get it from
Yeah.
Sally Henson over here that's gonna do it right. So yeah, of the two, probably fixing mistakes that they
Yeah.
made. Yeah,
I think of those two, I mean, if I could be in the middle, I would.
yeah,
Because like I said, I was a hardcore AU hater,
yeah,
but there's definitely been a few that I'm like, okay, you kind of got me with this, you know.
yeah,
But I think if I could only choose between the two, it would definitely be Canon Mistakes because
yeah,
I do feel like most people turn to fan fiction because the story
yeah,
ain't doing, you know, they ain't doing what it's supposed to do, you know, or not going in the direction that you would like to go in. And so I think the majority of the fanfics that I've read have been ones that fix those canon mistakes.
yeah,
I will say in that category though, I hate the ones that retell the entire story. Like
yeah.
there are some there's one I can't remember the name of it, and if you're the writer of it, I'm so sorry. But there's probably a lot of these in that category. But I've seen a few like 911 fanfics
It's
where
just the entire
somebody, it's
story.
just the entire
Yeah.
story from season one,
Yeah.
and like they just like they rewrote it, including Buddy. So like it's the same story,
Yeah, I've seen a
like
couple of
same
those.
story from season one on,
Yeah.
but like where we originally thought Buddy was going to happen, which would have been like what, season four,
Yeah.
maybe, it did happen, and like everything that follows still
Yeah.
happens the exact same way. The only difference is now
They're
they're
together.
together. I'm like, I don't like those.
No, because I don't think it's really adding much.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
not.
like
It's not adding
those.
much. And like, don't get me wrong. This is no hate to any creator, like
Yeah,
writer that's done that. But I do think that like fixing canon mistakes isn't just like rewriting that. It's more so like, okay, give me this story where they got together at this point and like
right,
it went a little
right.
canon diversion type
Right.
thing.
Yeah, I
Like,
love take this little moment in time
yeah,
and build a whole something else around
facts,
it, or
facts.
like it cuts off, like I've seen a lot of like the scene cut off here
Yeah,
and they just continued it.
yeah,
Like this is what happened, like beyond like what we didn't see.
yeah,
Like again, I haven't watched the most recent 911 episodes, but like I've seen a lot of people um taking that intervention clip
yeah.
and like they're like writing like what happened with Buddy after that,
Okay.
like the drive
Ooh,
back
I have
home
to go. I
or
have to get up
something
on
like
them.
that. So like I like those, but yeah, if I had to pick, it's definitely canon mistakes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, of the two, Canon Mistakes definitely because, like you said, I don't enjoy those that just like take it and rewrite it. I do like when they do like one moment in time and like write like a buddy event
Yeah,
and then wrap it up. I don't really want the entirety of like the 9 seasons retold
yeah,
from the cause and then also y'all putting a lot of time into that. That's
yeah,
that's that's
yeah, yeah, yeah,
that's a lot.
yeah. But I do love a well done AU,
Yeah.
or like a slight AU.
Yeah.
Like there's one that we had talked about where like the story was the same, the characters were all the same, but like Buck had gotten injured and couldn't be a
Mm-hmm.
firefighter anymore, so he opened like a bakery or a bookshop
Ooh,
or
yeah.
something like near the 118. And so
Mm-hmm.
like that was so like a slight AU, but
Yeah.
like, still they
Yeah.
all have the same jobs, same people, like that kind of thing.
Some of them be making some fire AUs though.
Yeah.
And I just be like, oh babes, you need to get in the field and write your own book
Yeah.
because this is great. This is nice.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think that's a great question. I would like for somebody in the comments to answer because I'm curious to know what y'all would say. I definitely think
Yeah.
fixing mistakes because honestly, in a lot of the shows that I be watching, it definitely be some mistakes,
Yeah.
and I definitely need
Absolutely.
somebody to rewrite it and clear it up. Like, no, actually, this is how it should have went. This
Yeah.
is this is how it should have gone. So yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I guess it's gonna wrap this episode of Rated TNT. Thank y'all so much for listening and coming back and joining us again. Get in them comments and talk to us because we do in fact talk back. As always, I'm Tay. That's Tim.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.